We should be good. Sorry about that. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Community Board final meeting of the session. Today is June 25th, 2025. Thank you all for taking out your busy schedule for coming out tonight. We have a robust agenda. We have a presentation. We also have to vote on some items. But I wanted to take the time to thank each and every one of you for coming out, because the weather is extremely hot. And I want to see if we can move this along so we can get in and out. But I thank you for coming out. And I also want to say that there is refreshments. Where is Miss Food Bazaar? Step up. Come up for one moment. I just want to introduce Andrina. She actually is representing Food Bazaar that just opened up on Linden Boulevard. Ever since the Food Bazaar came into our community, they have been community partners. They have donated food back there for the entire community. We know coming from work, picking up the kids from school, doing what you need to do, coming to this meeting, that you may be a little hungry, so we want to just take the edge off till you can get home. But we wanted to thank Food Bazaar publicly for being a community partner. I'm going to let her say a few words, and also, okay, she don't want to say anything. There is some flyers, the postcards in the back. The only thing they ask is that we download their apps. That's something easy we can do. So thank you, and tell Edward thank you, and we appreciate it. And the community board and the community on a whole thanks him. We're going to start the community voices. Before I start the community voices, I see some new faces, so I'm going to introduce the board. My name is Alice Lowman. I'm the proud chair of Community Board 5. To my left,
Charles Bullock, second vice chair.
Ro Johnson, Sergeant at Arms.
Wilfredo Florentino, compliance officer.
Gina Watson, recording secretary.
Albert Scott, parliamentarian.
and we have some board members. Everybody sprinkled up. So could board members please stand up so that the community would know who you are? This is a robust community board. Thank you, board members, for all it is that you do. Thank you for your volunteerism, and thank you for leading the committees that you lead. I'm going to have my second vice, Mr. Bullock, call the community voices.
As you are getting your refreshments that are in the back, please be mindful that there's business taking place. We have such a busy agenda, and we need to get through it. And just limit your chatter so that we can hear the meeting, please. Thank you.
You guys can get up and start getting something to eat. We're going to continue business, but I want everybody to be able to eat something and drink something while you're sitting around listening. So you don't have to wait for nobody to call a certain row. Just get up and go get something to eat. There's sandwiches, there's fruit, there's hot food, there's something to drink. So we want you to enjoy yourself and enjoy our meeting.
Thank you. We're going to do the community voices. First, we have Vivian Mandala, CMC Workforce. Vivian Mandala, CMC Workforce. Going once. Going twice. Next. All right. Next, we have Dr. Andretta Mitchell.
Good evening, community. Okay, so the prayer walk is approaching. Again, it will be August 23rd, 2025. I have the route for the walk, and I have the flyers for the walk. What I'm gonna ask is that if you can you take a picture of the flyer? I only have like 20 flyers, so if you can, please take a picture of the flyer as well as the walk route. Okay, I got 2 minutes. Let me see if I can do this in 2. So the meeting place is going to be at Hope for All Outreach Christian Center, 2431 Linden Boulevard at 10 a.m. We will assemble there because we need to pray out before we go out. After that, I will give you the instructions. So we will be sitting, praying in Cypress Hills because there's an uptake in violence. I was there last Monday with a group of people, and our young people need prayer, our families need prayer, so we will start there after we leave the church. We are not doing any prayer drive-bys. We are staying and standing strong. We will fan out. We will follow instructions because everything for God has to be in decency and order. So if you can follow orders and instructions nicely, I would welcome you to come. If you have your own agenda, I would ask you to have your own walk. Respectfully, because this is one community, and Cypress Hills at this time, they're killing one another. Things are not being reported. Our young boys are just going wild, and they're homeless at the same time. So I'm asking if that's why the resource fair is important, connecting to the prayer. We can pray all day, but what are we going to give them after that? We need to give them something tangible. So we will have resources there for that particular reason. So I am asking anybody and everybody who wants to join, because I think it needs to be a serious march and it needs to be taken care. We need to be taking it seriously, and we need to fan out so that people can see some unity, because the summer's starting. And we don't want any premature deaths in our communities. So we need to be praying, and I'm asking for all faith leaders that would like to join this work, because it's not just about us, it's about every single person in this community. So I'm going to leave this to the back. You can always come to me, and I'm at 0. Be well.
Thank you. Next, we have Haley Kim. Haley Kim.
Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing tonight with the heat? Yeah? All right, so my name's Haley Kim, and I'm speaking tonight on behalf of myself and the East New York Coalition for Community Advancement. What I want to talk about tonight is the alarm bells being rung by the totem development, especially since their last presentation at the Land Use Committee meeting. One of the reasons the coalition and I oppose the totem development, especially since their last presentation, is the lack of foresight and forethought in the plans that Totem has presented. Their economic development plan for the area isn't so much a plan as it is a bunch of empty promises. One of the many positives that Totem claims about their project is that it will bring jobs to East New York. They say their office jobs are what East New York needs. But those jobs, too, are empty promises. In their racial equity report, it states that because they do not have any confirmed tenants, They have a grand total of 0 jobs that they can guarantee for the community in those proposed office spaces. However, they are offering 88 construction jobs. Now, don't get me wrong, we really support union jobs. We truly respect union workers, and we think any construction jobs in East New York should prioritize East New York workers. However, anyone familiar with the history of East New York and what has built the middle class of this community understands is that we need jobs in healthcare, education, transportation, and light manufacturing. Instead, in order to build their project, they are displacing 100 light manufacturing jobs in East New York. Half of those are in New York City Transit. East New York and its economy is not an experiment. What we need to ensure is our entrepreneurs have affordable commercial rents, opportunities to own their own small business space, and we need to grow jobs in our communities that make sense for our community. Okay. All right, thank you. All right, find me or any of my colleagues later to please sign up for the coalition and our meetings. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have Pia Isabella Palomino.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Pia, and I'm also speaking on behalf of myself and the East New York Coalition for Community Advancement. So I wanted to talk a little bit more, touch a little bit more upon what Haley before me was speaking, and I wanted to talk about the extreme concern that the community should have with the totem development and why we as a coalition really oppose the project, especially again since their last presentation at the land use meeting. So the major development proposal is being framed as beneficial for the community of East New York, but many claims in the draft environmental impact statement are deeply misleading and fail to show the devastating impact that this project could have on the community. So again, from their published study, the repeated claim of no adverse impacts does not align with the residents' lived experiences. If existing rents are already rising and the new development increases speculative interest, then a project of this magnitude in the community becomes a catalyst for displacement, even without any direct evictions on the land. There are many 2- and 3-family homes in and around the Broadway Junction area that are not rent stabilized, and a project of this magnitude will increase rents and force low and moderate income renters to be displaced. On top of that, based on their published studies, what the project considers affordable housing at 80% AMI makes a 2-bedroom close to $3,000, which prices out most East New York families. We need this project to commit to more deeply affordable units. Also, what mechanisms are in place to stop this project from becoming a magnet for wealthier transplants instead of serving the people who live here and are risked being displaced? So I urge the board to look past these false promises and ask who the project is really for. We must demand better because we cannot afford to greenlight development that displaces the very community it is attempting to profit off. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Up next, we have Stephen Graham.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Stephen Gurman, and I'm speaking on behalf of myself and the East New York Coalition for Community Advancement. I and the coalition oppose the totem development, the rezoning and redevelopment next to Broadway Junction's transit station, currently under review here at CB5. Many residents of this community take the A, C, J, Z, and L trains to and from jobs in other parts of the city every day, as do I. Many others travel into Broadway Junction area for work which according to the U.S. Department of Labor is home to thousands of jobs in the education, healthcare, and transportation industries. And here in this beating heart of working New York City, the developer is proposing at least 4 high-rise towers, thousands of new residents. To refer to one document, the draft environmental impact statement of this project, a detailed transportation analysis was conducted and concludes that the proposed actions would result in significant adverse impacts to A, vehicular traffic at 16 intersections, B, 2 subway stairs, C, pedestrian conditions at 4 sidewalks, 5 corners, and 3 crosswalks. At the intersection of East New York Ave and Williams Place, new traffic will generate significant amounts of pollutant particle PM 2.5, which is closely tied by the National Institutes of Health to premature death from cancer and heart disease. Don't even ask me what that line of cars will look like. The stairways to the AC trains will be so crowded during morning rush hour that even the hard-won station improvements cannot keep up. The future of Broadway Junction area cannot be sacrificed to accommodate thousands of new residents who have higher income levels. We need justice for the junction, justice for our commuting workers.
Thank you, Stephen. Up next, we have Reverend Christine Valentine, sorry.
Good evening. My name is Reverend Christine Valentine. I'm a reverend and also I work for the Department of Education. So I want you all to please listen to this because this is about our children, the future for our children. So I want to discuss the alarm bells also as what the coalitions were talking about with totem development. So one of the reasons why I and the coalition oppose the totem, especially since their last presentation at the Land Use Committee meeting, the draft impact study presented by Totem both claim that the schools in the area will not be severely impacted by this development, even though there's potentially over 3,000 new residents who may be introduced through this development. So I want you to look at what happened in downtown Brooklyn rezoning. It was predicted that 270 elementary school seats, 103 middle school seats, and 65 high school seats would be needed. This was underestimated. The number of children that came to the district, what actually was needed was 3,111 elementary school seats, 1,302 middle school seats, and 912 high school seats. So this proposal does not take any of this into consideration and is an insufficient estimation of the impact of this project on the schools of East New York. This level of overcrowding for our school system is detrimental to the education for our young people and requires foresight and forethought, not a reaction after the overcrowding impacts our already burdened schools and infrastructure. So we really need to take in consideration how many children will be also in this area, and we will need more schooling for these children. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. Up next, we have our own brother, Albert Scott.
Own where you live, a simple concept. The totem development does not provide a pathway to home ownership. Own where you live. I understand when people say, I do not want to own a home, but I'm sure you may want to own a business or own some sort of equity in some things. The questions you have to ask yourself moving forward when there's ever a housing development in this community, what is the percentage of those units coming back to the existing residents of East New York? We know that it was 50%. We know by the time this development is over, it will be zero. What's in it for us? Why the rush? How do we benefit? But how it impacts us? Well, this development equals displacement. But wait, Al, how does this happen? We know that the units is not affordable for us. So where are us going? Number one. Number two, the question is, there's just too many smokes and mirrors regards to this project. I have to commend the Land Use Committee when Totem gave their presentation at a public hearing. They mentioned one key thing that stood out, and it was written in their EIS statement. They said there was a community partnership with the church. The church stood there and said that did not happen. A credibility issue. They say they intend, they promise, but they want us to give their request for development in writing. Then the question has to be asked, what's in it for us? Own where you live, own this moment, get involved, touch base with the Coalition for Community Advancement for more detailed information. Peace.
Just a disclaimer, our board member Al Scott is speaking on behalf of his membership of the Coalition for Community Advancement and not on behalf of CB5.
Mic check, mic check.
I just want to reiterate, this board take the community at heart. We do not green light just anything because we like you, because you come to our meetings, because you send nice emails. That don't matter with us, right? Just want to say for disclaimer, when a board member of Community Board 5 stands up and speaks for any organization themselves, they are not representing Community Board 5. They are representing themselves, they're speaking for themselves, and they're not speaking on behalf of the Community Board 5. The Community Board represents a city agency, and we cannot dictate anything of any agency, developer, or anybody that comes through our doors. So I just want to say, for disclaimer to the community, it is not a CB5 statement. It's a personal statement, and everybody has their own right, and I love Al Scott to death. He fights for our community. Brother Paul fights for our community. Boris fights for our community. There's a lot of people that fight for our community, and they're passionate about how we're being treated. But I don't want it to be viewed in a way that people think that the community board is saying this and saying that. So I'm going to pass the mic back to my second chair, vice chair, Mr. Bullock, and we're going to continue on because we have a lot of stuff on our agenda.
Up next, we have Darius Adolph on the crib announcements.
Hello, good evening, CB5 community. My name is Darius. I am the community organizer at the Crib Family Enrichment Center, and I just have a few announcements about some upcoming things we have in the near future at the Crib. Okay, and the first thing tomorrow is every month I host a community discussion forum, I like to call it, which is open to community members, community leaders, other like-minded organizations to share a meal, to share our voices, and to share resources with one another in an attempt to foster some community connection. And this one that I'm hosting is in partnership with Omaha, Opening Our Minds and Hearts, which is a new nonprofit that's trying to make its way in our community. And they want to get a gauge of, the voice, what we value, what we're looking for. And that'll be tomorrow from 4 to 6 at the Crib, which is located at 2588 Atlantic Avenue, which is a short walk from over here. So if you have time tomorrow, stop by, check it out, join the conversation, enjoy a nice meal with us. And aside from that, we're also partnering with another nonprofit called Our Voices for a wellness event. And this is a day of wellness where we have a bunch of different panelists talking about stigmas about mental health and how to avoid these stigmas and how to look at it in more of a healthy way. So in this event, you can enjoy a sound bath, you can enjoy some mindful art, and enjoy some other workshops just about like wellness in the community. And the Crib itself is a very home-like space. And we're open from 10 to 6, and the door is always open for community members or organizations who want to collaborate and form partnerships like what we're doing here. So thank you very much. That's all.
All right, up next is myself, Charles Bullock. Good evening, everyone. My name is Charles Bullock. I'm the second vice chairman of Community Board number 5. I'm also a carpenter, 20-year carpenter for the Carpenters Union, shop steward. I ran through the ranks of a trustee and also a delegate. Right here, I'm going to let you guys know about my nonprofit called Shades of the Trades, Mentorship and Leadership. First, I'm going to read our mission statement. The mission of Shades of the Trades, Inc. is to educate and raise awareness within New York City communities about opportunities in the unionized construction trades. Led by a dedicated coalition of union members from various trades, this initiative is committed to mentoring and guiding individuals on pathways to the union membership. The skilled trades is a sector. The skilled trades is a sector that is vital to not only driving America's economic growth, but also providing meaningful employment to millions across the nation. Through our commitment to the community and education, we strive to build stronger and more inclusive workforce for the future. Our next info session is July 9th, and the number to register for the info session for the Carpenters Union is 212. You can write this down, 212-727-2224. And when you call that number, you would register for an info session. The minimum qualifications to be a union carpenter is you have to be 18 years old, have a high school diploma or GED, have the willingness to work. And also the benefits behind being a carpenter. You could go to the doctor, have, go to the dentist, go to the eye doctor. You have a 401k. These are benefits that I want to see our brothers and sisters in the community have so they could afford to live in this area because we're being pushed out. So it's important that we have good jobs for the community. And I have the paper in the back, and we also have the upcoming apprenticeships with the Department of Labor. So you can scan the QR codes and get the information about the upcoming recruitments. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I just quickly want to tell you about a crisis that we may be heading into with our CBO Head Starts. They received letters saying that they will not receive federal funding anymore. They were supposed to be funded next year, 25-26. Their funding is being cut, and they will, as of July 1, they may be closing down. So this is very impactful to our community. Our community-based Head Starts, they're usually open from 7 or 8 in the morning to 5 or 6 at night. And this is also your mom and pop, your home-based daycares too. And those daycares take care of children whose parents probably work that third shift, that 3 to 11, that 7 to 3. If we lose those Head Starts, and so all that will be left would be DOE Head Starts, which will not cover everyone. And they only operate from like 8 to 2 or 12 for Head Start. So this will impact our working class people because they will not have childcare. If they don't have childcare, they can't work, a lot of people. So this may be a really big crisis that hits our community. Please stay tuned There may be rallies going on about this. People, you can write your legislators about this, but please be aware of what's going on because this will deeply impact our community. Thank you.
Up next, we have Frank Patterson.
Good evening, all. So you guys know my name is Frank Patterson, and I'm the head of We're Done Dying, Inc. So it's self-explanatory. Our kids are dying. They're killing each other at an alarming rate. They need two things, y'all. They need some help, and they need some hope. So on August 2nd, my Bishop Hezekiah Walker, along with my foundation, will be giving a celebration. It's called Praise in the Park. It's going to be held at Kellyanne Kelly Park. We're going to have basketball, food, and just stuff for the children. You guys are welcome to come on out. Bring your family, your children, everybody. So the bishop sends his blessings. And also, there's another event that I'm facilitating with the 73rd Precinct. It's called their Summer Jam. It's August 28th, Saturday from 12 to 5. Right in front of the 73rd Precinct. We're going to have food, fashion show, and prizes, giveaways. So everyone come on out, bring the kids. Again, I'll be facilitating the food with my foundation. So yeah, we just want to have everyone have a good time. Thank you.
Up next, we have Terrell Belfield, Community Engagement.
Good evening, everybody. We made it to another end of session here after a great year. So I just want to thank the board, the volunteers, everybody who doesn't have a job. They don't have to be here for doing all of the great work. And today, well, first I just wanted to echo something Brother Patterson just said about the youth. I think the youth, when we talk about them, there are a lot of negative connotations, right? So we hear about gun prevention programs, we hear about them killing themselves, we hear about they need. And I agree, they do need, but I want to start to change that conversation a little bit. Let's talk about the things that we can actually do for them. We have a lot of young individuals that have great ideas. We have a lot of young individuals that do things and want to do things that they don't feel supported in. So how can we think about ways that we can actually support them to want to actually be a part of things? Because when you come to these events and you have older individuals or more experienced individuals and they don't necessarily welcome you with open arms, that can be a little discouraging. So lastly, what I'll say is, as some of you may have or have not known, for the last 60 days, I've been a candidate for City Council in District 42. Thank you. And during this time, because I only have a limited time, but during this time, I've learned a lot. I've connected with a lot of people, and have grown to understand this district and politics a little bit more. And with that, after some deep reflection, prayer, going through different scenarios with my attorneys, advisors, and I actually came to the decision to concede my running during this election. So doing this, and the reason why I'm doing this is because, well, don't get me wrong, it's not the conclusion of me, TJB for NYC, but Belfield for council is just not really where I can really use my best abilities, where I can show my expertise. And so I think my passion will be better utilized on a grassroots area. I'm out of time, but I hope to work with everybody in an increased capacity, with all the leaders, make change makers with the community, and continue to do what we do. Thank you all.
Thank you, Brother Terrell. Last but not least, we have Jose Garcia, Community Love.
Good evening, you beautiful community members. This is about love for all of you. So I heard of some complaints tonight, and these are all resources that could be worth paying attention to. Who here has heard of the Association for Foundation Black Executives? Oh, one person. They are a philanthropy that supports black communities. They give money for transformation in communities. So the person that was talking about the Head Starts, that could be a resource for you. Earlier, people were complaining about the housing concerns that the totem development represents. Well, we can look at Bedford-Stuyvesant for that. A lot of the black residents there have been forced to come here because it's out of their price range. So let's not forget about downtown Brooklyn. That's a long time ago. So there is a think tank called Center for Urban Future. Guess who shows up there? Elected officials, Totem, and other big players. They actually advocate for these things like City of Yes. Guess who's not there? Us. So we, community, need to go there and speak our voice at Center for Urban Future so that they know not to build on us. Center for Urban Future has their next event on Tuesday, July 15th at 8 in the morning at the Rubin Field Museum on West 17th Street. I guarantee if we go and protest some totem there where there's elected officials or staff representatives, they'll pay more attention to us. They won't ignore our calls when we ask them to come to our events. And last but not least, community, you know, you're all doing such a phenomenal job. I know there's a lot of hard work that's being put into this stuff, but unfortunately, the people that need to know about it are blind to our efforts. So does anybody here go and represent CB5 at outside functions? Oh, one person. 2 people, all right. So when you go to events, instead of putting your company name, put Community Board 5 or Brooklyn Community Board 5. People will start wondering, what is Brooklyn Community Board 5? Because that's what I do at events. Some people can testify to that, like, whoa, he actually mentions Brooklyn Community Board 5. Put it on the map so that people won't ignore us. Keep up the great work. I love you all. Keep it up.
Thank you, everyone. That concludes the community voices. But I want to make sure that everybody knows on August 5th is National Night Out for the 75th Precinct Council. And it's going to be located at the Nehemiah Gateway Park. So the hours is 1 to 7, August 5th, the Nehemiah's Gateway National Night Out for the 75th Precinct Council. Please make sure you come out, bring your kids, tell a neighbor, come and support that organization. We're going to go into elected officials real quickly. We have Mr. Pierre Guidon from the mayor's office.
Good afternoon, everyone. Pierre Guidon from the Mayor's Office, Community Affairs Unit. I'm just going to make some quick remarks. Definitely thank you. It's been good spending some time with you guys. I know we're ending, but whenever you guys are having events, black parties, house parties, invite me. Definitely like to come. But on behalf of the mayor, Mayor Adams launched new teams to fight rats in the city in his new phase of war on rats. Recently, he actually did a press conference where he was using the different tools, the smoke machines and things like that, to fight the rats because a lot of them at time are within the tree's bed. So he's launching new efforts to help prevent, to slow down the rat population growth in the city. Mayor Adams, as well too, and Reverend A.R. Bernard recently celebrated the vision of over 450 affordable homes in the heart of East New York, launching the next phase of the larger innovation urban village. I mean, this is going to bring more homes in the area, bring more support for people in the area. In addition to that as well too, recently Mayor Adams did a press conference talking about the financial literacy for youth. So between him and as well as one of the commissioners, they're launching a program where they're going to have financial literacy program in all DOE schools. They're starting now, but they're going to try to expand it out to all DOE schools so that the youths, can actually be financially aware and have wisdom so that by the time they're older, they will be less in debt. In addition to that too, Mayor Adam and Commissioner Tisch, NYPD Commissioner Tisch, expanded the quality of life division to continue enhancing public safety and community trust. Now, the reason why this is important is that in the first 60 days of the pilot program, when they first originally launched it, in the 13th, 40th, 60th, 75th, and 101st precinct, they responded to more than 7,500 emergency 911 and 311 quality of life calls, issued over 6,100 summons, and made 357 arrests. But what they also did realize was that 311 responses actually was brought down by 16 minutes. So the efforts that they're putting, by expanding the quality of life is to actually, help citizens more with this unit, with this division, and also to, bring down 311 calls, the time that it takes for response to 311 calls, which also means that, the quality of life is getting better in the areas that they're focusing on. In addition to that, Mayor Adams, as CB, all the community boards know that, sometimes you may see a car in the area that's been there for a long time. Since the start of his administration, he removed over 100,000 illegal vehicles from city streets, making the city, more safe and as well as more clean. Another big efforts of the administration. And one last thing I'll say, just to end this off, is that Mayor Adams announced fatherhood plan to help New York City fathers and children thrive. So, this is an effort to help, fathers throughout the city. I was raised by a single mother myself, but fathers are important in the home. So I think he's definitely trying to see what he can do to help all fathers. And I think it's a good program as well, too. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Ms. Renee Trapman from Latrice Walker's office.
Good evening, CB5 family. My name is Renee. I'm from the Office of Assemblywoman Latrice Walker. Every third Saturday, we have our third Saturday advisory board meeting, so the next one will be July 19th. This past one, we took the constituents to Nan to join Reverend Al Sharpton's rally. On Monday, July 28th, we're having our annual job fair in conjunction with Congressman Hakeem Jeffries. That's going to be at Mount Arac Church on Howard Avenue. That is July 28th. And the New York State Black Legislative Task Force secured $30 million in fiscal funding for this year, which is going through 3 fiscal conduits. The deadline for that is today to apply. So if you have a CBO and you haven't applied yet and you need the link, please come see me. So that's $30 million. It's going to be distributed to CBOs across the state, and the deadline to apply for that is tonight. Our address is at 400 Rockaway Avenue, 2nd floor. Feel free to call us, 718-342-1256, and see you all in the fall. Thank you.
Thank you. Tanika Strong from Senator Roxanne Prasad's office.
Good evening, everyone. Just two announcements that we want to share. That on this Saturday, Senator Prasad, in addition with her fellow colleagues, will be hosting an annual Caribbean Heritage Day. That will be at 1222 East 96th Street from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. In addition to that, on tomorrow, Oath will be at the district office from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Walk-ins are available, and so please contact our office at 718-649-7653. Just one more event we want to announce, that on August the 19th, our annual Fun Day event, which will be held at Canarsie Park from 1 to 4 p.m. If you're not following Senator Prasad on social media, please follow her on social media via Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you.
Miss Nikki Lucas. Miss Kim Gills for Nikki Lucas.
Thank you. Good night, everyone. Thank you for coming out this evening. I know it's a work night and you guys are tired and hungry, but you chose to be here, and we appreciate that. So the member is at a tenant meeting right now, but I'm here in her place, and I'll be announcing some updates from the office that she wanted to share with you. You could come visit our office at 425 New Lots Avenue. We will always assist you. And then we also have our annual food pantry on Monday, July 7th from 11 to 2 p.m. And then we also have an event coming up on the 16th next month with the Department of Labor at the Brooklyn Sports Club. And so some quick updates from this past legislative session. We had $825 million to expand the child tax credit for over 2 years. This will give parents up to $1,000 for kids under 4 years old and $500 for kids that are ages 4 to 16 years old. And then we also had $340 million to provide free school food, breakfast, and free school lunch for every student in the state of New York. And then there will be $5 million to hire new enforcement personnel at the Office of Cannabis Management to continue efforts to crack down on unlicensed sales. And there will also be $370 million for gun violence prevention programs that are proven to drive down crime. And also $9.5 million to provide free diapers and other supplies to parents of newborn babies. And then just some key initiatives from housing. There will be $110 million specifically allocated for capital improvements to Mitchell Lamas. Also $500 million for new affordable housing construction. This funding will support the development of new affordable housing units across the state. And also some resolutions that she got passed in this last session. November 3rd will be officially recognized as Panamanian Independence Day. So any Panamanians in the house, yes, she worked hard on that. And we also have Little Panama will be recognized as a cultural district. And the state will be commemorating the 30th anniversary of the Panamanian Parade, and that'll be held on October 11, 2025. Thank you guys so much for having us. We appreciate you coming out every month and participating in the community board meetings, and we thank our community board for their hard work and their dedication. We really appreciate the work, and we love you guys. Bye.
Thank you. Dom Alexander, City Councilwoman Sandy Nurse. Hey, Dom.
Family, my Inter family. It's good to see y'all. I'm about to open one of these fire hydrants and turn it into a community event. I got on the C train at Liberty, almost missed my stop. That AC was bussing. Trying to tell y'all, but I'm gonna make it short and brief. Main important thing I want to tell everybody, our office is closed, our AC hasn't been working. It's 95 degrees in our office. I can't work under them conditions. I get hangry, we can't do it, so please call in advance or check our websites, emails, Instagram, I'm on that. If you check it, and we'll let you know when we'll be back in our office, hopefully tomorrow. I miss my double screen computers. Real quick, we've been doing pop-up offices. So we've been all around the district. We've been putting out the calendar, the schedule. We just put it out for July. Please come check us out. Our constituent cases has doubled because we've been around the district, meeting the people where they are, which is great for the people, of course. Definitely doubling down on the work, so we kind of took it back on the events. Events is cool. We definitely want to provide that for the community, but we really helping people with their issues directly, so we want to continue to push that. That's our bread and butter. July 18th, though, we'll be doing movie night at Highland Park. We watching Inside Out 2. Come check us out, Lower Playground. And we start at 5 o'clock. Oh, no, movie start at 8. You don't got to come too early. Come like 7:30 because we give out popcorn. Come get yours. And last but not least, August 23rd, which I know is the prayer walk. Make sure you go there first, and then you pray your walk right back over to Highland Park to us. All right? Because we're going to have back to school day, we're doing movie night, and we're going to have a concert, all in between, all mixed in one. I ain't going to tell you who the guest is because we still booking them, but we got a little bit of money to book something. So it's going to be a good time. Family, I love y'all as always. I love y'all. God bless. Wait, this the last one?
Yes.
Yo, y'all have a great summer. Use my number. I'm going to give y'all my number one more time. Somebody hit me up. It's summertime. I miss y'all. 646-856. I know somebody taking it down. Y'all be sneaky. 4343. Let's have a good. Thank you. I'll see y'all this summer.
Dom. We have a special guest today. We have a special guest from our one and only Brooklyn Borough President, Miss Carol Ann Church. Carol Ann, I want to give you this first to take back to Mr. Reynoso. We ran out of paper, so we couldn't get flyers out to everyone. But everyone, I want to make sure that you get this. If you signed in the email address, my district office will send everyone the newsletter. It is the end of the session newsletter from me of what we did from May and June. The committees were excellent, and I just want everybody to get a copy of the newsletter. So if you don't have it, I know you don't have it because we don't have any more paper, but the district office will email it to everybody, okay? Carol Ann, thank you for coming.
Thank you for the warm welcome. Good evening. It is a pleasure to again be at one of the CB5 meetings. It's one of my favorite boards. I just love the energy here. So I am representing our Brooklyn Borough President, Antonio Reynoso, who sends his greetings, along with the reminder to always spread love because it's the Brooklyn way.
Yes.
So just a couple, first off, I'll be remiss as Director of Community Boards to not say a very special welcome to our brand new Brooklyn Community Board 5 members. You signed up for a lot, but you have a lot of experienced board members here to lead the way. So please use your fellow board members and the executive and your district office staff as a resource. Okay. We just have a couple of things going on from our office. If you know anyone in fashion, we are hosting a call for emerging Brooklyn fashion designers. There'll be 3 persons selected. They'll receive a $5,000 grant and an internship. Applications for that open through July 6th. So we have just about 2 weeks. If you know anyone at all, please reach out. And in celebration of Caribbean Heritage Month, we're hosting a health and wellness event at the Brooklyn Museum on June 30th. For these 2 things, there are flyers in the back. Please see them, share them. Yeah, as community board members and people who come out to these meetings, you have a big job, and that is to take the information you get here back out to your neighbors. That's all it is. We share information, and this board gets a lot of information, and it's no use if we keep it to ourselves. That's how we grow community, get that information out there. And everyone, it's hot. It's probably going to be even hotter during the summer. So stay cool, stay hydrated, and stay safe. Happy summer.
Thank you, Carolyn. And please send our regards to Mr. Reynoso from Community Board 5. Last but not least, Ms. Jessica Franco, representing Ms. Julia Salazar.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. It is always a delight to be here. Welcome to the new community board members. And I am 100% certain that in the summer we're going to stay active, we're going to stay involved. You're going to see the community board along with our elected partners and the coalition sharing these flyers. Please, if you are a homeowner, sign up. If you're interested in submitting the survey, it's right in the back page. Please fill it out. We want to make sure that the cease and desist zone that is due to expire on November 1st gets reinstated. And this time it goes better and bigger. We want it to cover all of East New York. That means from the Jackie Robinson to the Bell Parkway. We want to make sure that every homeowner has the same protection and the same access to say no to solicitation that they do not want to receive. A very quick update from the state budget. I want to let you know that $50 million for the Housing Access Voucher Program, which is directed for financial support to help people stay in their homes, is coming to the state of New York. An additional $500 million for new affordable housing. And legislation is moving forward to stop private equity firms from buying up houses when they come to the market. In addition, there will be $100 million towards building new child care centers and ensuring that New York City families continue to receive access to child care. This is very special, in particular to East New York and to the CB5 community. Senator Salazar has secured $270,000 for multicultural high school. We want to make sure that we continue to fully fund our schools and that we give them the services that they need. My name is Jessica Franco. I'm District Director for State Senator Salazar, and as always, we're here to help. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jessica. So we're going to start our regular board business meeting right now. It is 5 minutes to 8, and I just want you guys to know that it is not going to end at 8:30. We have 2 presentations. I ask that you stick it out because we need to vote. We need quorum. We need quorum. We need quorum. Okay? I'm asking, please, ma'am, please, sir, stick around. Community, we listen to you. Now listen to what we do for you. So I ask that you stay around with us. We heard all of your concerns. Please hear ours and be a part of this community, this little village here. We're fighting for you. So I ask that you stick it out. We're going to start with the roll call. I'm going to have the Compliance Chief Officer call a roll call.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Alyssa Abernathy. Deborah Ack. Alfred Adams. Amiria Allen. Shani Bell. Thank you. Nydia Bonifant. Thank you. Alton Brown. Thank you. Charles Bullock. Thank you. Orissa Cameron. We'll come back. Natasha Cherry Perez. No, she's not. Juan Colon. Ethel Cooks. Thank you. Rachel Ellison. Thank you. Dwayne Faison. Miguel Feliciano. Anna Fisher. Wilfredo Florentino, present. Jessica Franco. Dwayne Frankson. Odessa Finn. Jabril Gaskin. Aura Goodwin. Andrea Granville. Jimmy Guilty. There it is. Thomas Haynes. Suzanne Jacobs. Ebony Johnson. Thank you. Amia Johnson. Rocklina Johnson. Thank you. Grace Jones Roberts. Thank you. Darren Linson. Thank you. Alice Lowman. Andrata Mitchell. Judith Nareen. Thank you. Kelly Pierre. Evelyn Pugh. Alberto Ramos. Tanisha Ritter Hudson. Thank you. Wilma Rivera. Thank you. Boris Santos. Abdul Sattar. Albert Scott Jr. Tanee Snuggs. Thank you. Isaiah Thomas. Luz Torres. Emily Walker. Thank you. Monique Wallace. Thank you. Gina Watson. Tanina Wilkerson. Thank you. Hazel Worley. Thank you. Madam Chair, we have quorum with 33, excuse me.
Thank you. Just a reminder, if you do not come to community board general meetings, 3 meetings in a row, you will be put up for removal. There's a lot of people that want to sit on this board and do their civic duties. And we cannot allow people to hold spaces if they don't engage and come to the meetings. So I just want to be very clear with everybody. Attendance is a must. Attendance is a must. So please take it serious, because there's other people that would love to be on the board. You know, you're taking up spaces. So with that being said, I'm getting off my soapbox. And I'll entertain an approval of the May 25th, 2028 agenda. May 28th, 2025, I'm sorry. Second by Charles Bullock. All in favor? Any opposed? The second, I'll entertain the motion to accept the agenda for June 25th, 2025.
Make the motion.
Charles Bullock made the motion, second by Ms. Fisher. All in favor? Any opposed? Any questions? Any addendums? Any corrections? So we're going to start the presentation. The presentation we have before us is New York City Transit, MTA, Mr. Anthony Drummond, the Assistant Director of Government Community Relations. Welcome back, Anthony. It feels like you never left.
All right, good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, thank you. And thank you, Ms. Lowman. It's good to be back here. As mentioned, my name is Anthony Drummond, Assistant Director of Government and Community Relations for New York City Transit. And I'm here to present to the community our ADA accessibility upgrades project that will be happening and taking place at the Norwood Avenue JZ station. So I know we don't have a PowerPoint or presentation up. I understand there's some audio issues, so hopefully everyone in the audience was able to get a copy of the presentation. If not, I'm sure the district staff will be able to share that with you all. So I'm just going to walk through just real briefly the project scope of what work is going to be taking place there. So those in the community don't know that for the Norwood Avenue JZ train station, we're going to do the ADA upgrades. It's going to be on a street level head house that will have a new 2-stop elevator, along with reconstruction of the platform, which is part of the Transit Authority and MTA's overall state of good repair for the stations that we are approving. It will also include a new platform canopy. Steel columns will be repaired, as well as the track and third rail improvement, which will come later in the second half of the project. I think the big thing with this project is going to be the street level improvements, which will, prior to the start of the work, there's going to be initial work of the utility relocations. There's water, electricity, sewer, and so forth that would need to be moved and realigned. Then there will be also the construction of the head house where the actual elevator shaft will be, and so that would need to take place there too. I think the big thing with the community to share is just the schedule, because the reason that we did present this before the Transportation Committee last week, and then from the committee chair referred this to the full board, so the community is aware of the project, that this work is going to be starting this coming August. And that will be the utility relocation, and that's going to take about 120 days of work, and that's going to be a big part of the work before the construction of the actual elevator, station platform, and then eventually parts of the track replacement will take place. So that's the big part, and other than that, there will be just construction and service impact, because we all know as it relates with construction, particularly with New York City Transit, as I do get a lot of calls and complaints regarding our construction projects that happen throughout the borough. But this construction time will be taking place between like Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. There will be access for pedestrian on our sidewalks, so we're going to maintain right-of-way for people to be able to traverse. There will be no interruptions of bus service that is currently operating in the area. There could be slight interruption, just for full transparency for those that are driving, because part of it is off of Fulton. There may be some street closures that may need to take place in order for our construction materials to be offloaded, unloaded, so there will be some times where that will happen. So just to put that out there, it is just part of the standard work of the construction that there will be some roadway interference at times. But I do inform the community board pretty regularly. Ms. Perkins, I do send the emails out, and then I know that usually gets sent out through the e-blast to the community, so any project that takes place, if there's any last-minute interruptions, definitely will inform the community on that too. And just briefly, I do want to introduce Katie McDougall, who's our public relations consultant that does a lot of the outreach, so she'll be working with us on this. And of course, if there's any questions, concerns, problems, feel free to reach out to me. My email is anthony.drummond at mtahq.org. Feel free to email me if you have any questions or concerns. And that's pretty much it. I will stick around for the meeting. I always usually do that. So I'm glad to be back on for that, especially for the upcoming Broadway Junction project, as we are also part of that as well. But I don't know, happy to take questions if that's allowed.
Yeah, well, we're going to entertain a few questions, but I just wanted to mention very briefly as a member of the Transportation and TLC Committee that this particular project, the ADA accessibility project at the J Norwood Station, is one that has been one that we have been advocating for and requesting for decades. It's quiet in here. I said we've been requesting an elevator at Norwood for decades. And MTA, as part of their 5-year plan, is finally getting around to addressing the station. It is included with the Livonia station, if I'm not mistaken, as well as the Newlot station. So there are multiple ADA accessibility projects going on in our community at this time. Multiple. And so we just want to be sure that the community knows that that is something we're continuously working on. And this project, although it hasn't started, there is an opportunity for us to share our concerns, our issues, ask questions of the MTA, and so this is our opportunity to do that. Brother Paul.
Thank you very much for the question, Brother Paul. So this project here at Broadway Junction, so first to answer your question, I have not heard back from ECHO on for the actual hiring numbers. We do understand, I know there is, and just share briefly with the community, I do participate as part of New York City Transit with Council Member Sandy Nurse's office does host a public realm monthly or quarterly meeting with all the agency, which includes us, and that ECHO, the ECHO team is part of that meeting. And that's one of the things that does come up a lot is in regards to the job numbers that we're supposed to be hearing and getting. Have not received that yet. That is something I have noted, both hearing from you as well as the council member's office, because that does come up. And we'll be pressing the ECHO team to get that, because we know that's a major project that is happening to the point of like $500 million that is happening, taking place in that area.
Should we engage the federal officials, because under that project, $120 million plus of the DBE is slated for this community.
Yeah. Sure.
$125 million of that project is supposed to address businesses in this community, predominantly black-owned minority businesses. We can't have this. That's our money.
Sure. Definitely. Understand. Duly noted.
Joey, ask your question.
You said Cleveland and then Sickland. Okay. Okay. All right. And just to respond to that, we'll be taking note. I know as Chair Florentino mentioned that these projects, it is part of the capital plan within MTA, and usually this is how the funding that is allocated for it then as we get more money for it, then we start moving forward with the ADA projects with the elevators. The goal, I know our chair for the MTA has mentioned the goal is to get at least 90% of these elevators of the system by 20, don't hold me to it, I'll double check. I think he said 2044, 45. But yes, as funding comes in, we'll make sure to get on these stations on the priority for the capital funding to be upgraded. Okay.
One more question, Board Member Charles Bullock.
Sure.
Yeah, I see that the project is kind of like set up on an island. My only concern is like the pedestrian access, because there's going to be traffic going around that area. Like, are there going to be different type of access points for pedestrians just to get into the space?
Yes, so, and as mentioned, that is going to be probably a big concern when this project comes, is having the traffic for cars, trucks, buses, and so forth, access point. There will be what we call MTP, which is basically protected barrier to allow access for pedestrians to be able to traverse on the sidewalk. We will have that will be maintained throughout the entire project to make sure that citizens and people will be able to walk through. So we'll have that there.
And that will be the Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m.?
6 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Drummond.
You're very
We
welcome.
appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Where she go? I would be remiss if I did not introduce our State Assemblywoman, Miss Nikki Lucas. Can you come forward? We appreciate you stopping by. Ms. Lucas, you could come and say a few words, but I want to say publicly to you, thank you very much for being a champion and fighting with us against the tractor trailers back there at Gateway. We thank you, thank you, thank you.
What I gotta say here? Hey, what's going on? Okay, cool.
You see our fancy hardware? CB5, East New York, all the way live.
So, I think I'm a little trapped here. I think I got it. Appreciate it. All right. Good evening to everybody. Now, y'all gonna have to do a little better than that. This is the coolest place to be right now. Thank y'all. So I am Assemblywoman Nikki Lucas. I represent the 60th Assembly District. So that is East New York, a little bit of Brownsville, and Canarsie. And I've been in since 22. Sometimes it's very difficult for me to kind of come in. Full transparency, I came in with an empty office, right? So I had to kind of build up, still building. And I am in Albany. I'm an Albany state legislator, right? Legislature. And I go to Albany from January to June, about maybe 3 to 4 days a week, and I travel back and forth, and I come here. So from June through December, I'm typically in district, and I try to squeeze in as much and as many meetings as I can. And if I'm not here, my office should have some level of visibility. I am located at 425 New Lots Avenue, and that's between Vermont and New Jersey. You do not need an appointment to come and see me. If you catch me in the street and you have an issue, you should shoot your shot, let me know on the spot. And I always encourage people never to suffer in silence. Oftentimes, if you don't have an issue, but you know someone else that does, please make sure that you reach out or encourage that person to get help. I may not be the office that handles that particular issue, but we do make sure that we follow through on circumstances, issues, or concerns that you have, to make sure that even in our referrals, we're on top of it to make sure that you get the help that you need so that you're not getting the runaround and losing confidence in your elected officials. So I just want you to understand that we will follow through. We are a little hand-holding throughout the process, and I encourage everybody to come see me. So that's one. I want to kind of just go over a couple of things. When we first get to Albany, what happens is we work on the budget initially. So whatever the state budget is, we have to vote on it. We then, at that point, go directly into policy. I'm taking my time to explain because a lot of times people don't know the difference between the Senate, the Assembly, the City Council. They don't know what we necessarily do, but we do legislate in addition to advocate, and we vote on the state budget, and then directly after that, we go into making sure that we are legislating, right? So there's a policy part and there's a budget part. All right? Everybody with me? Dang, y'all with me? All right. All right. So ultimately, it took us a little bit to pass this budget that happened. So the reason why budgets take a long time to pass is because oftentimes, and it's not unique to this particular governor, it happens with any governor that's in. A lot of times they want to pass policy in a budget, right? And that's their way of leveraging to get what they want so that we can get what we want for our particular priorities. So that's what happens. So our budget took a long time because there were maybe 3 or 4 issues that we needed to iron out. One of them included the mask ban, right? That was an issue for us. And oftentimes, when we're talking about these issues, it might be simple to someone else, and what I've learned just in working in a body like this is that you may be really strong on your convictions, but unless you're living in somebody else's community where it doesn't work, you have to be able to look through the lens of other people, right? To really kind of come to a compromise, and also to make people understand why this is important to you, or why this may harm you. So when the mask ban came about, it wasn't anything that I supported. Why? Because I did not want inequitable enforcement in our communities and targeting our children that oftentimes wear these masks and what do they call the masks? The things that go over your head? But they have a name for this. Yes, shoes shiesty or spool shiesty, pool shiesty, whatever the case may be. Whatever the case may be, we understand that it goes like that in our communities. And these aren't criminals. These are kids that's going to school, they following the trend, they, doing whatever it is. So that was a real concern. So we have to map that out. And it came out where it actually passed, but in order for you to be charged with wearing a mask, you have to be caught on another crime, right? And with being charged or caught on another crime, the judge has to then decide that you wearing a mask while committing that crime was connected with you wanting to commit that crime, if that makes sense. Does that make sense, or is it confusing? So you can't be charged, anybody can't just roll up on you in the street or our kids and say, hey, take your mask off, or you're not doing anything wrong, they shouldn't be harassing you. So we had to make sure that we took a real stand around making sure that there were some concessions in there so that we are not unfairly targeted. The other thing was the bell-to-bell ban, cell phone ban in schools. We kind of was like supporting it, but here's the issues, because you got to listen to parents and stuff like that too. My child, like my daughter, for instance, she has type 1 diabetes, right? She uses her PDM, and she also has the monitor as well as the pump. But it's her phone that she uses in order to get her numbers and, all of that other stuff. Register the amount of insulin, those things. So she's somebody that would need her phone, right, during school. There may be an emergency that happens with a child, or maybe a parent can't pick up their kid and they need to reach out or what have you. Those things are afforded. You can call the school, you can use your phone. If you have like a 504 form, you can still use your phone and keep your phone. Those are exceptions to this rule. However, we had to do something about the bullying. We had to do something about the calls that come in, like meet me after school. We had to do something about an issue that was escalating with our young people. So this is why some of this came about. And so, again, concessions that we made was just to make those exceptions, but we needed to do that. There's a budget that was allocated to the schools to make sure that they were able to put these things in place, public schools, put these things in place, buy like these bags if that's what they choose to do. Some would, from the school, maybe the principal, would lock it in a bag when they come in and release it when they leave. And that's how it's going to operate. Then there was the discovery piece. That probably took the longest time. And that involved the admission of evidence, right? When can the evidence be admitted? What evidence can be admitted? What evidence should be excluded? It was a lot about evidence. And this took a really long time because the statistics just weren't adding up to justify how the prosecution wanted to, randomly use this evidence.
Excuse me. Mm-hmm. Can I ask the board members to have a seat and let's pay attention, because it's a little disrespectful while the assemblywoman is talking. There's so much conversation being had. We know there's a couple of things that we got to vote on, but I think while we have her here, let's show her some respect and let's listen to what it is that she's sharing with us. We're going to get right back into our voting. Now, we know we have economics EDC next, but I think we need to show the assemblywoman some respect by paying her some attention while she's talking.
Listen, appreciate it. Listen, if y'all want to hear this and this is boring, y'all let me know. It's okay. But listen, and be honest, be transparent. But we got to be able to educate our community, because a lot of times we pass these laws and we pass the budget and none of us know how to draw down on any of this stuff. Right? So we're excited, hey, we got this budget, but what does it mean to us? Right? So I'm sorry, I tend to talk a lot. I have a lot of information to share, but when God gives me something, it's not for me to keep, it's for me to share. So those were the three things that we ended up holding up the budget with. But what we came out with the budget are a lot of key things. I think this was no budget is perfect, but at least you live another year, God willing, to fight again, right? So you get what you can, and then you keep it moving, right? So we did some things as it pertains to Mitchell-Lamas. There's some Mitchell-Lamas. That's important because Mitchell-Lama had been really kind of a really great program that really supported not only like affordability, but also equity, because there are shareholders within that program. But what happened is that they were kind of going through the years treating it how they kind of treated NYCHA, which is slowly disinvesting. And so we were like, we can't do that. Like, I have a blended community. I have homeowners, I have renters, That includes like equity holders, like the co-ops and the condos. So there has to be like equity when it comes to taking care of the community. What can we do about this? So we ended up getting money this year, and we will likely, I can tell you, get it next year. This year we wanted to focus on Mitchell-Lamas who were in debt, right? So if your Mitchell-Lama owed money for light, gas, water, if it had like some minor repairs, maybe there's some units that were vacant that needed some repairs, this is money that you can request. So whether you're in my district or in Harlem, your legislator, your state legislators can submit for this funding, and actually on the assembly side, okay? So there are, believe it or not, I think we've got Starrett City, which said they have no debt. We have Linden Plaza, which I know there's been a lot of talk around Linden Plaza. Linden Plaza doesn't have debt, but they are currently going through an $834 million development that was invested, right? And how that came about, just to pivot a little bit, in 22, when I first got in, I did a walkthrough with Mayor Adams. And I said to him, I was like, look, I'm so afraid that this place is going to fall to pieces. There were missing rails from the terraces. You could see the joints in the garages coming to pieces. There was major mold and piping issues that was going on, and I was absolutely afraid. There's like 1,527 apartments to be exact. So there were major, major issues. So they went through a process of initially having a buyer, and that fell through. And then these people came, and they ended up doing the deal. What concerns me, and we gotta make sure that just as a community, we are involved in not just our issues, but other people's issues. Out of that $834 million, there's $435 million in construction costs. Congressman Hakeem Jeffries had HUD put in 600 additional vouchers for Section 8, and the rest are made up in tax credits and abatements and all of these different things. The developers only put in $5 million. And the problem for me is that a lot of our people, when it comes to contracts and being prime developers, they're not given opportunity because they're being told that they don't have capacity. But in the meantime, the government is subsidizing everybody else. So these are some of the things that I am constantly and consistently fighting about. So now you bring these people, we're here now. What are we going to do when it comes to bringing contracts, giving and affording contracts to our local contractors? What about local hire? They've been bringing in people from other states, right, to get these contracts. They've been bringing in other people from different districts to get these contracts. I said, no, we're not going to do that. So I've been really on their necks about a lot of stuff. We're still not all the way there when it comes to the contracts, as well as the local hire. We're not finished yet. But this is something that we're in the process of. I was able to get MILA organization, which is the community-based organization that's on that project. So if y'all know people that are interested in working, please make sure that y'all come see me about that as well. I'm also going to be doing something soon, which maybe we can do some stuff together with this. I'm doing a direct hiring hall in July, but I'm doing it a little different because I hate like just these workshops and these job fairs, and then you come out, they get their numbers and you get no job. So I don't like those things. So we're doing a direct hiring hall. So the first weekend, we're going to prep. So we're doing mock interviews. We are doing resume building. We're going to make sure people have proper clothing. And then the second weekend, we're going to make sure that you're prepared for the jobs that are ready to hire. So that's going to be in July, and we can work together on that. We're also going to be doing in August, for those who have small businesses, we got to get our people into getting MWBE status. Okay? Why is that important? Because there's so many opportunities when it comes to these agencies. They are required, city, state, federal, they're required to make sure that they have a certain percentage of MWBE contracts, right? I think it's like 30%, 20%, whatever the case may be. But if we're not in the running, we will never get selected and we will never be placed on this list. So when talking to these folks, it's like, well, how do you do this? How do you apply for this? Where are these places located that I can even apply? Only to find out we don't have any in our district. So we're doing something in August that will, one, give the information, but two, they'll be ready on site to at least do the initial application process. And so people can start the process, and then having conversations about funding a satellite location or getting like the local development corporation to be a part of those folks that are helping people build capacity so that we can start getting those opportunities at getting contracts on these different levels. We gotta do an emergency meeting because I know y'all got stuff to do. I got a whole list of things I didn't even talk from off my list, but we have so much money that came in on housing. We did a number of different things to supplement the losses that we have been experiencing on the federal level. And so I have a whole 2 pages to go through, but I know that time is of the essence. So if we can do, if y'all willing to come out while I'm here, right? I'm willing to come out as many times. We can do either the general body, we can do smaller groups, it's up to you. But I do want to say this. I really appreciate your partnership. I sincerely do. You mentioned about the truck situation. I literally called Ms. Lowman and I called Wilfredo. Right? I got to give y'all credit, seriously. Because when I heard about the trucking situation, I was like, wait a minute. Now I know that I get tons and tons and tons of calls in my office about these trucks, right? I said, there's no way that anybody agreed to this. So I said, wait a minute, before I misspeak, let me just reach out to the community board, right? So I reached out to Alice, I reached out to Wilfredo, and I was like, hey, I just want to know, before I step, over the lines, did you guys vote on this? Or were you a part of this? No. We may have heard something, but nobody ever came to talk to anybody on the community board. So I was like, okay, no problem. It is out of my purview, right? This is really a city issue. But it becomes a community issue, and every issue is my issue that comes into that office.
That's right.
So I had to take a position, and we're not always going to agree, right? But what we can do is we can correct without canceling, right? We can correct without canceling. So that's what we did. We corrected some things. And I reached out to every elected, the congressman, the senator, the councilman, and I was like, hey, this is my position on this. I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but we have some issues with public safety. We got some issues with solicitation already with some of these trucks around the place. We have situations when it comes to littering and sanitation. It would have been nice if you just included the community on the idea, so maybe they could have came up with a better solution. So I didn't know if I was standing out by myself or not, They said they would write the letter. I didn't know if the letter was coming or not, but it didn't matter. I was like, I'm just going to have to stand on this. I did send a letter, but it wasn't about me. It was about making sure that the community did that, right? Because me by myself, I can't stand alone and nobody's behind me. But
Just
I appreciate
to interject,
you.
we did send a letter.
Yep.
I had my district manager send a letter. It was addressed first to Keith Bray. I said no. Send it to Mr. Yadanis because I want him to know that he cannot disrespect Community Board 5 by just going ahead without having a conversation with us. So I want you to know we did send a letter because we were backing you like you were backing us.
Appreciate y'all. I just want to end with I love y'all. I appreciate this community board. I am so impressed at the work that you're doing. I appreciate your support. And anything I can do, whether on the spot or not, please include me. And I appreciate you including me already. But thank y'all. I love y'all.
Thank you. Thank you. I would be remiss if I didn't say that the district manager, Ms. Perkins, actually spearheaded a lot of that with the tractor trailers back there, with Gateway, with the parking back there, with the streets, with DOT. So I want to say thank you publicly to Ms. Perkins for all that you do. Land use. We have New York City Economic Development, EDC, to come up and do their presentation.
Hi, good evening. Thank you, Chair and Community Board 5 for having us today. My name is Gregory Vangert. I am the Brooklyn Borough Director for Government Affairs at EDC, and I'm joined by my colleague Aaron, who is going to give a quick presentation that I'm sure most of you have seen quite a few times. We've been to land use quite a few times, and hoping that you guys enjoy the presentation. We're also joined by a member of PD as well as a member from the Parks Department. So I'll hand it over to Aaron for a quick presentation, and then we'll take some questions.
I think you all should have this presentation, but if you don't, let us know. We have a couple extras that we can pass out as well. But thank you all, everyone, for having us. My name is Erin Tao. I'm with New York City Economic Development Corporation. Tonight, we're just going to give a short presentation on the We just have a short presentation for you all tonight on the Broadway Junction Public Realm ULURP application. If you flip to the first slide, we have a map here. Just to give some context setting, so today, as you all are probably already very aware, Broadway Junction is a transit hub with great transit access, but has a really degraded public realm. Public land here is largely occupied by both MTA and also New York City Police Department. There's a lot of sort of operational sites here that are enclosed by fencing and overgrown shrubs. There's a lot of garbage, overhead infrastructure, generally creating a pretty unsafe and unpleasant pedestrian experience. We're pleased to share, though, that the city has secured $130 million for public realm investments. The goal we have is to create a safer, comfortable street environment, beautify some of the open spaces, which is much needed in this community district, which has also one of the worst open space ratios per person in the city. At the core of this work, we're really looking at how we can take back public land for public use. And this project that we're talking about tonight is complemented by other public and private investments in the area, including the $400 million MTA investment to the Broadway Junction station, as well as the recent opening of 2440 Fulton Street, which houses offices for New York City Social Services. This office is going to bring SNAP, fares, and other benefits to the community. And also, this building is going to be featuring a parking garage with over 320 spaces that includes some dedicated parking for the Department of Social Services. Our project that we're talking about tonight is going to deliver 2 new public open spaces. The first one is an extension of Callahan Kelly Playground to reclaim the full extent of the parkland around the Broadway Junction Station Head House. To do this, we need to relocate Transit Police District number 33. And then the second Publix Plaza is directly, sort of diagonally across the street from that station on the east side of Van Sinderen. The property right now is currently occupied by MTA. And then the other two projects that we're looking at are two streetscape improvement projects. One is on Van Sinderen between Atlantic Ave and Fulton Street, and then the second one is on Broadway between Jamaica Ave and Truxton. These projects will prioritize creating safer streets for all modes of transportation, improving connections between the neighborhood, the subway, and of course the Long Island Rail as well. EDC has released RFPs to procure design and engineering teams for both the streetscapes and Callahan Kelly Playground Extension, and we're currently in the procurement process. We're anticipating that design for all of these projects will start later this year, and we're targeting sort of construction for the projects beginning in 2028 and completing in 2031. Throughout the design process, we are planning to gather feedback from the community on the design as it progresses as well. So then to implement this project, we're seeking CB5's approval for 4 discretionary land use actions, which I'm going to describe further. So the first land use action is site selection for Callahan Kelly Playground Extension. To implement this new plaza, we are seeking a site selection action. Like I mentioned, right now, New York City PD Transit Police Station occupies about 15,000 square feet of map parkland around the playground and close to the station. The facility is located above ground and is shown in white on the map. This really limits visibility and accessibility to the subway entrance and the park from the street. So this land use action will allow us to deliver a ½ acre of new public open space, thereby extending Callahan Kelly Playground and creating a combined total of over 4 acres of open space. We're also planning to regrade the corner of Fulton Street and Van Sinderen Ave to enhance some of the visibility and access to the station, as well as the park, and this is going to help better accommodate the pedestrian volumes and improve wayfinding in the area. Amenities and design of this space could include new seating, public arts, vendor space, plantings, and more, but the details of this is going to be developed sort of through the community engagement and design process as we continue. To accommodate the new Callahan Kelly Playground Extension, the existing PD Transit facility needs to be relocated. So the second land use action that we're seeking approval for is needed to relocate NYPD 2 blocks south to a part of 1508 Herkimer Street and acquire a new purpose-built building for the PD Transit Station. The new station is going to be a 4-story, 35,000 square foot building. This is based off of a right sizing of the existing facility to meet current size and demographics of the district staff. There's no plans for an increase in staffing at the facility, and it's going to feature a transparent ground floor with a street-facing community room. NYPD, though, is going to continue to maintain some small presence inside the station itself. But the new facility planned on Herkimer is going to be providing off-street parking for the district's vehicle fleet, which will reduce NYPD's parking on the streets around Broadway Junction. Although design for the building is still being developed, we wanted to share with you a floor plan that shows how the building is going to be laid out on the ground floor. So you can see there's a multi-purpose community room having a dedicated entrance off of Van Sinderen, and then parking for PD is going to be accessed behind the building. It's anticipated that the construction of the new PD facility is going to begin in 2026 and then will be completed in 2028. Due to budget constraints and also just assessed needs of the PD facility, only a portion of the lot is needed for this project. The third land use action that we're requesting approval for will allow the remaining half of the lot to be developed in the future by the owner so that there's sufficient light and air into any future building on the rest of the site. And then the last component of the planned public realm improvements is to transform a portion of an MTA-controlled parking lot on the southeast corner of Van Sinderen Ave and Fulton Street into a new 5,000 square foot public plaza. This last land use action will allow the city to develop a new public plaza on the site, and then we're also planning to coordinate the design and implementation of the plaza with the planned Herkimer-Williams public plaza immediately to the south to ensure a cohesive and enhanced design across both projects. Combined, this plaza is going to create a total of 10,000 square feet of new public open space, allowing pedestrians to walk through what today is fenced off to the public. EDC is going to lead the design and construction for both of these sites together, and Totem is going to be responsible for maintaining the full open space in the future. The new plaza... Okay. The new plaza could feature amenities such as seating, planting, and lighting, and is going to continue to be developed through future design and engagement as well. And then lastly, so our investments in the public realm are going to be paired with a workforce and MWBE strategy to support training and business growth in the local community around Broadway Junction in East New York. EDC has set a 30% target for MWBE firms for the Callahan-Kelly Playground Extension Design Contract, and we're planning to exceed the 7% federal disadvantaged business goal for the Streetscapes project. We also have a program called Construct NYC. This program is going to be prioritizing local businesses in its forthcoming cohort to ensure that more local businesses are pre-qualified to participate in the construction of the public realm projects in this area. We also just announced $1.4 million in funding to 5 local nonprofit organizations to expand workforce programs in East Brooklyn. This is going to prepare job seekers for future opportunities and is going to include training in the welding and green construction trades. And then lastly, the upcoming construction contracts for these public realm projects are going to include a community hire goal that 30% of all labor hours are performed by residence-based community hires. This means it's going to be prioritizing hiring NYCHA residents and also residents from economically disadvantaged areas based on zip code. Based on sort of the zip codes that qualify for this is going to include residents from East New York, Cypress Hills, Brownsville, Ocean Hill, and Bushwick as well. So just sort of in summary, the Broadway Junction Public Realm Project is going to reclaim public space for the community by delivering 2 new public open spaces next to the Broadway Junction station. Paired with our streetscape improvements on Broadway and Van Sinderen, our investment is going to improve access to transit and throughout the area, making streets safer for all users. The existing dilapidated NYPD Transit District Number 33 facility is going to be relocated from Broadway Junction Station into a new building that will better meet the department's operational needs so that they can better serve the millions of commuters who currently use the city's subway system. And then lastly, these improvements are being bolstered by this expanded workforce development opportunity for the community and the larger neighborhood as part of our larger strategy to advance economic growth in the East New York IBZ. As we continue to advance these public realm improvements, we're going to continue to engage with the community on the design to make sure that voices are represented and sort of the design of the public realm reflects what we're hearing from the community. That's everything I have. We're happy to take any questions.
Thank you. I'll open the floor up for some questions from the community board and from the community. Anybody have a question? Terrell? Anyone that have a question could line up right here with the microphone.
My question is, I know you mentioned that Totem will be maintaining the project that you will build up. So do you have any plan on like holding them accountable, or how would that relationship work post building?
Yeah, so you want to take? I can take.
Yeah, thanks for the question. So what the city is planning on doing is we would have a maintenance and operation agreement with Totem. This is something that the city has done for other projects as well, such as I think the St. Vincent Triangle in Manhattan. Essentially, it's a document that would sort of lay out the requirements for Totem and hold them accountable for maintaining it into the future.
Yeah, and just to answer, we recently shared like a sample of a different project in Manhattan that we share with Community Board 5 of what that might look like. It might not be exactly the same, but kind of holding, being able to hold Totem accountable with that maintenance and operation agreement.
Thank you for the presentation. I'm curious, one thing I did not hear you address, I use this station often with my children. MTA parking is a real issue, and it feels like that is not addressed in the plan that you raised. I heard you mention the NYPD parking, but it feels like the areas surrounding the kind of pedestrian access to the station involve a lot of MTA workers parking their cars around the sidewalks to the point that they're not publicly accessible. So I would love to hear that. And the other thing I would love to know is if we could expect better sanitation services now in and around the station in anticipation of this work. It feels like this community deserves to have a cleaner and safer way to get to the station currently, and not just down the line when this project is complete. So I'm hoping you can maybe speak to both of those questions. Thank you.
So in terms of, just to answer your second question, in terms of sanitation, the council member has as well brought up making sure that not only during construction but afterwards that, you know, the plaza is taken care of. So there will be a conversation with DOT, and DOT will be maintaining the plaza, right? If I'm correct, DOT, I believe, is maintaining the plaza. I could, or is it?
I say for the plazas, so Parks is going to be maintaining Callahan Kelly Playground Extension because it's essentially parkland, and then Totem maintaining Van Sinderen Plaza, as we mentioned. We hear a lot of concerns about like general maintenance concerns in this area. We're working to look at how we can see if there is additional maintenance that could be done here, just generally to the streetscapes. And then, I'm sorry, I couldn't remember. I think you had a second question.
The question was about keeping the MTA parking vehicles off the...
Parking for MTA staff. Parking for MTA staff.
So we're having conversation with MTA about that as we move forward. And also, Representative from Parks is here. I don't know if you want to add anything about the maintenance of the plaza, Elizabeth, about the maintenance of the plaza?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Ernest. I'm with the Parks Department. I have been working in East New York for many, many years. I was part of the team that worked on a slate of capital improvements for Highland Park, the new playgrounds on Jamaica Avenue, and City Line Park. So I'm really, really excited to be here. I love the district, and I love this mic. But I think the question at hand was, how are we going to maintain the site? How are we going to maintain the plaza? Was that the correct question? Keep it clean. Okay. So. Sure. So Parks Department, as you know, we are like every agency. We're feeling a pinch, but we do when we renovate a park, we usually redesign it in a way to reduce maintenance. And if you can remember, I know Callahan Kelly is in District 16, but you can probably, if you were to look at post-construction, pre-construction and post-construction images, that park is a lot cleaner and well-maintained than it was 5 years ago. And so when these plazas are redesigned, they will be designed with an eye towards like areas that won't collect litter, areas that aren't prone to graffiti or scratchiti. We'll have proper waste garbage cans, etc. We'll have lighting in the right places, so we won't have these kind of blind corners. And so that's the beauty of when you can renovate a park. A lot of the issues that we face on a day-to-day basis, we can correct during that design process. Was that the question? And I think there was another question about maintenance. Was it? Oh, sure. Sure. Well, I mean, on that point, the Parks Department and the MTA have been working so closely together, and I think Anthony has left the room, but we've been working so closely to ensure that what's going on with the MTA current construction and the ADA expansion isn't impacting the park. And if you walk through it, you'll see that we've done a pretty good job. Now, I know Van Sinderen is a very, very, very challenging site. Street. I know it's so busy. There's lots of buses. There's lots of people going around, and I would be, I'd be speaking out of turn that's not a park. That's DOT. But I can tell you that, like, because of all that's going on in the Junction and East New York, that city agencies are really collaborating and working together. Where you have those public realm areas where it's kind of unclear where the park meets the station, et cetera. But working with the board, we can continue to make sure that we play nice in the sandbox and keep your parks clean.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Hi, can you elaborate on how much of this space is going to be dedicated to local, independent, small businesses?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Can you elaborate on how much of that space is going to be dedicated to small, local, independent businesses?
Which space, the plaza?
That you're speaking of, that entire region.
The actual plaza, meaning like Are you asking if there's going to be vendors on the plaza, or what is?
The space that you're speaking about, that the
Yes, which is
presentation
the- yes.
right, how much of that space will be dedicated to local small businesses?
I don't believe there will be any commercial space on the actual plaza outside of possible vendors, but we're still early in the process for that. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, but there's not commercial space to lease out on the plaza.
Yeah, just to clarify, make sure everybody understands, it's just 2 public plazas. So like Greg said, no commercial space on it, and then it's a PD relocation.
Yeah, just not to get confused, we're not building a development or anything like that for commercial space. These are 2 public plazas.
Okay, so this kind of builds off the last question of one of the ideas that was put forward by the Center for Urban Future as a revenue stream for parks is to allow vendors to actually operate out of there. Like, for example, Shake Shack in Madison Square Park, you have the vendors in the Highline Project. So I think it makes perfect sense to try to figure out a pipeline for businesses of the community to actually operate there so that that park can be maintained by the community. So please take that into consideration. And then the other question I'd like to ask is, at what point in the process will 1% for Art law kick in and allow community artists from our neighborhood to be part of that work?
For Percent for Art, we have not discussed the Percent for Art project on the plaza as of yet. But we could have a conversation with the Department of, I lost track of which department, Cultural, that's right, Department of Cultural, yep. But we have worked with them on other projects with EDC. So we have a good relationship with them. There are other Percent for Art projects that have been very successful.
Yes. We were talking earlier about that precinct. That precinct, right now, you've told us, I heard the presentation, there's 180 employees in that precinct, the building. Now, the parking that you're proposing is only 10 units. That's for the patrol cars. So you got 180 employees. You got 10 patrol cars. Where are the people who work in the building going to park? Now, those 320 units that are HRA 2440, that's not public parking. Is that correct?
Correct. That is
okay.
not.
That's private parking charge. So that doesn't impact the local community because people have to pay to go in there, and that's for the workers for HRA and that building. So every time you talk about that, that's misleading. Those 320 spaces for people to work there. You're building another building with 180 employees, 10 units of parking for their patrol cars. Those same officers are going to have to park on the street next to the other stuff that's going on there. Now that building is in that Van Sitterman area. That's going to impact the ADA accessibility that we're trying to create from the Long Island Railroad between that and the A train. So this building, you're talking about 2026. The ADA accessibility won't finish for another 3 years. So how's that going to impact what we're trying to do there? You got a parking problem, then you got this half a unit of a lot you're buying. Why didn't you buy the whole lot so you can create some parking there? All you're doing is, that's taxpayer dollars. You can use that money more efficiently. Right now, and that building, what's going to be inside that precinct? Are you going to have jail cells in there also? Hello?
All right, so just to answer the question about, so we have PD here as well, but just kind of dissect the question. So the reason we bring up 2440 is because there have been questions about where the people that work there are going to park. So that's why I mentioned we're separating that the employees that come to 2440 will be able to park in 2440. In terms of the PD, question, so in terms of parking, there will be a few designated spots, as you said, for some PD. Not all 200 employees and PDs here, and if you could correct me, not all 200 employees will be working at the same time. So about a third, I believe, employees will be, so that's about 70 out of the 200, if my math is correct, will be on site at the time. That includes admin and PD. And PD is currently having conversations with MTA for possibly a location where more cars could be able to park there, so kind of personnel vehicles, to make sure, as you said, the concerns of making sure the officers that do come in for work, those one-third, or admin, have another space where they could actually park their vehicles. So those conversations are ongoing. Once we have, I guess, more clarity between MTA and PD, we'll obviously share that with the community board. And I believe, what was the final, question? Why don't we buy the rest of the lot? So the money allocated was specifically for this portion of the lot, meaning that there is no more capital funding to buy the rest of the lot. Meaning that if possibly if there was more capital funding, something we could look into, but right now we have just enough for that particular portion of that lot. And I don't know
What's
if you
the
wanna say-
function of the building? You didn't answer
I'm sorry?
that question. What's going to be going on in that? Is there going to be jail cells? Is that like a mini booking center? What's going on in that building? What's going to be the functionality of that building?
We did supply a ground plan. I don't know if you have any more details of what exactly is going on in the building. I'll pass it over to Mike from PD.
Good evening, Sergeant Mike Mazzolatis, NYPD Facilities. So on the second floor, for example, we have adult holding cells, and it compromises about 15% of the second floor. Third floor, fourth floor, you're talking about approximately 150 lockers, administrative offices. So whatever holding cells we have encompass such a small portion of that building. And just to expand on what Greg said in regards to the parking, right now we have 10 spots that are on-site spots that are for NYPD patrol vehicles. We are working with sister agencies of ours to secure more off-site parking, but when we talk about 180 command staff, we're not talking about that command staff being present at the building at all times. For example, on a day tour, we have approximately 45 members who are working at that time, so approximately 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. And not all of those individuals drive. So you're talking about a further reduction in, I guess, the parking that we were discussing before. But we are doing as much as we can to locate off-site parking by working with the MTA and hoping to secure some additional parking for our command staff to further alleviate any pressures we put on the community.
Thank you, Michael.
Hello. My question is aimed more towards the construction aspect of it. I worked on the EDC project in Harlem. I'm a carpenter, union carpenter, and I seen on the job site where they were collecting data for the zip codes to make sure that people that live in certain zip codes that they're able to get work. So my question is the general contractors. Are they willing to become signatory, help the local businesses become signatory contractors as far as like employing people in the community so they could be helped to become skilled labor so they'll be able to have a union job in the community?
Sure, yeah. But this is a conversation we could definitely have. If you could actually email me afterwards, I'll give you my conversation we could have with the general contract that's selected for this. And we could have that conversation and maybe make that, no promises, obviously, make that maybe part of the agreement.
You have a name of the general contractor yet?
I'm sorry?
The general contractor, you have a name?
I do not, I believe we're still working that out, right? Do we have a general contractor? Not yet, right? So yeah, we're working that out. But once we do that, that's something, that's a great idea and something that we could definitely discuss. Okay. So I'll definitely connect with you. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Good evening, Boris Santos here with Housing and Land Use Committee. I just want to uplift and add on to what Brother Paul had to say with regards to floor plan designs and making those transparent and available for us. You're asking us to vote on a land use matter, and you're not making transparent the whole floor plans, site plans, and the operations that will happen in those floors, right? But you give us the first floor site plans. So you're operating in a very clandestine way for a public agency, or should be a public agency, right? Although you're private in some regards. But so I just want to make sure that that's known, because that is a big issue that we have. You cannot come to this board, tell us to vote on something on a relocated transit police precinct and not give us the full set of plans. You just can't. And you can't cite some of these things cannot be made available to us because they're under the guises of public safety agency. You're a public safety agency. That is not public safety. So y'all should give us the whole 4 floors of what's going to happen, especially when the facility now is only 1 floor, right? So that's first. And that's why for y'all, and I'll elaborate this later, when we go over the recommendations, that's why we're no with recommendations, right? This is how you get to a yes. And then the second thing I want to say is, regarding the maintenance plan agreement, You guys are taking public space and making a private developer be responsible for your public duties of maintaining the site. And meanwhile, your public plaza has more space than the private developer's, 2,500 square feet? It's unbelievable. You're operating with a deficit mindset instead of an abundance mindset. Give us public funding perpetually, year after year, and maintain it through the Parks Agency or through a public agency. It is public space. Do not give that up for a private developer to maintain it. And I say this knowing that last night, someone with an abundance mindset is going to make it to City Hall pretty soon. So y'all need to change our mindset real quick.
Thank you, Board Member Santos. You set the room on fire. Normally, they say I do it, but you set the room on fire tonight, brother. With that being said, thank you, EDC.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That actually concludes the public part of EDC. So we will entertain the report from Land Use Committee so that we can vote. I think you're a little out of order. You're out of order. 1 second. Wait, 1 second. Come up here. You yelling across the room. We can't even hear what you're saying. Come up here. This is our committee member, Miss Julia.
I'm not a board member, so Boris, I need you. The committee did make a recommendation to not support the project as presented. There are several different components of why they don't support it. All board members should have in their folders this particular sheet. It's going to be toward the back. You want to look at it. This is what Ms. Perkins and Chairwoman Lowman will have to put into the ZAP portal, the zoning application portal. Read through this. We do have to do a roll call. Y'all do. I can go home because I'm not a member. This is the official recommendation of the board. And Boris, I'll pass the mic to you so you can read it.
You want me to go through this right now, ma'am? Okay. So this is the recommendations put forth by the Housing and Land Use Committee, which is a no with recommendations. Because the first point is that the maintenance plans for their public plazas should cite a third-party maintenance partner, or rather, to adjust that and recommend that, it should be done by the public agencies and not by the private developer totem, right? So that should be clear. So we might have to amend this writing here, but because they only gave us information on their maintenance plan after the fact of what we voted. So we might have to readjust this as to wording of how we want that maintenance plan to ensue or be implemented. The second point is that EDC, which is a point that I made, needs to provide schematics or floor plans for 1508 Herkimer Street from top to bottom, not just the first floor. This is going to go to the borough president soon, and he's going to get the same information, or they might take him to the back door and give him more information than they did us. But they can't give us 1/4 of the floor plans. And then the last point, this is a very important point, because I mentioned this, which is like they're not operating from an abundance mindset. They cite budget restrictions for why they can't purchase the full site. Last time I checked, we're in the business of maximizing public space or public goods in this community district, right? So that means taking private market land off of the speculative market and making sure that we can do what's publicly best for our community. So purchase the whole site. And don't cite budget restrictions. We don't believe in that coded language. Go to the city council, go to the local council member, go to the council speaker, go to the borough president, or go to the mayor's office. And just how you got those $100+ million of funding to do these public plazas, make sure you get more resources to purchase the whole site. And I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say something that's not maybe too popular here. I'm not someone that's empathetic with car drivers. I bike here. But I am here to serve as a glue for the community and to hear people out and make sure I elevate those concerns. And there's a concern of parking all the time in Community Board 5. So I elevate because I'm a consensus builder. That's the democratic principle of me. If you're really hearing people, then you say, I hear you out, and this is what I'm going to do for you. So what we said is, when you purchase that other half of the site, make it community parking. Make it community parking. And just like the suburbs have out in Long Island, when you get off the train, maybe throw some solar panels to help operate the building and make it green, right? So these are our recommendations listed, and we really, really, really hope that it's not just words to paper, that your agency, EDC, can follow through on this no to recommendation so that it can be a yes at the end when it gets to the council members' desk. So thank y'all.
Thank you, Board Member Santos. With that being said, I'll entertain a motion.
Based on the recommendations, and it's not approved with the following modification requests.
I need a second. Ms. Anna Fisher seconded. I'm going to waive the discussion because we already had all that discussion. So we're going to go to a roll call vote, okay?
Okay, we'll do this as quickly as possible. Ms. Deborah Ack, again, we are voting in support of, in support or in opposition of the committee's recommendation. The committee's recommendation was to reject or not approve, and they had additional modifications. So the motion that was made was in support of the committee's recommendation. Ms. Ack. Thank you, Ms. Ack. Shani Bell. Thank you. Nydia Bonifant. Thank you. Alton Brown. Charles Bullock. Thank you. Orissa Cameron. Natasha Cherry Perez. Thank you. Ethel Cooks. Thank you. Rochelle Ellison. Thank you. Dwayne Faison. Miguel Feliciano. Thank you. Ms. Fisher. Thank you. Mr. Florentino's in support. Ms. Franco. Thank you. Dwayne Frankson. Thank you. Odessa Finn. Thank you. Ms. Granville. Thank you. Mr. Guilty. Thank you. Suzanne Jacobs. Thank you. Ebony Johnson. Thank you. Rocklina Johnson. Thank you. Ms. Jones-Roberts. Thank you. Mr. Linson. Madam Chair. Support. Thank you. Andrada Mitchell. Thank you. Judith Noreen. Thank you. Tanisha Ritter Hudson. Wilma Rivera. Thank you. Mr. Santos. Thank you. Mr. Scott.
Support.
Thank you. Tanae Snuggs. Thank you. Ms. Torres. Thank you. Ms. Walker. Thank you. Monique Wallace. Thank you. Ms. Watson. Thank you. Tanina Wilkerson. Thank you. Ms. Worley. Thank you. Madam, the measure passes with 30 yeas and 2 abstentions.
Thank you. We just want to say to EDC that we have no problem with turning that no into a yes, but modifications has to be made. Modification has to be made. We have no problem working with the project. I want to publicly say that, but we have to be a little more transparent and also be able to tell us what exactly is going to be in that building. Because we voted for so many years, no more new jails, and it seemed like we're getting a brand new jail. So for transparency, besides the transparency, let's work on the parking. You have a developer, and we have city. I know we can come to a meeting of the minds and get it done. So we have one more item to, we have 2 more items to pass. So thank you, EDC, for all of your presentation. We have, CP Unlimited, 2863 Atlantic Avenue. Are they here? Okay, could you step up, please? Okay. Yeah, it's quick. Right. We just, so we just have to, we just want to acknowledge, this is going to be real quick. We're just acknowledging what the ask was, and it was just a letter. It was just a letter for, no. It was, not a letter of support, just a letter for acknowledge the receipt of the initial letter acknowledging. This is just a letter that they asked, a confirmation that they asked that they presented to our community board. We're not voting this up or voting it down. This was a letter of support that they presented to the community board. So the project we're not voting on, this is just a confirmation that they came before the board to tell us about the project, which will be coming up in the future, okay? So we really don't need you anymore, but I just want to acknowledge that you guys are here and that we are going to give the letter that you requested. We look forward for you coming back with the project for us to vote up or down, okay? Thank you. We have one more thing, and that is public safety. Yes. Public safety, quality of life, and that would be the end of our meeting.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Grace Jones-Roberts, the Secretary of the Public Safety and Quality of Life Committee. On June 9th of this year, of this month, we had Obrester Corp. Antojisto Ecuatorianos restaurant located at 3398 Fulton Street apply for renewal. Their application was approved via recommendation by the committee. These are good community partners. We have no problems with parking. I live 2 blocks away from them. They do not operate after hours. They do not operate on the sidewalk. They are really good community partners. They have a really clean and nice establishment, and it is very welcoming in the community. So given that, the board members had voted for approval of their renewal. I've lived there for almost 11 years. I walk past. I have never had an eye turn toward this establishment. I cannot say that about many in my neighborhood, but I can say that about this establishment. Thank you.
Oh, Board Member Frankinson.
1 second.
You want to ask a question? Okay. 1 second.
I just want to clarify the name. It's Antojitos Ecuatorianos. Okay, thanks.
So that was the only license that you guys approved? That was the only license that you guys approved, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So I'm going to do a consensus vote. All in favor of approving this? Wait. Frankinson made the motion. Dwayne Frankinson made the motion to accept the committee's recommendation. Say that again. Okay, who seconded? Lose. Any question? On all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Abstains? No? Good night. God bless.